We're going to review Unit 3 in your Signing Naturally book, and the vocabulary starts on page 24. We'll start with places and things around the classroom, and the first word is restroom. If you remember, you had learned the letter R, and so you just move it from one side to the other. The next row is toilet, so again, form your letter T and just move it from one side to the other. The following word is water. If you remember, you had learned the letter W, so you move it toward your chin and just kind of tap your chin. Third row, phone or telephone. Next word, you have your two C's and they move forward in a circular motion, so this would be class. And then you have your open palms facing inward. This is room, representing the walls, so that would be classroom. On the last row, on page 24, you have office, so you have your letter O on one hand, letter O on the other hand, forming the two walls again, office. And the last word on page 24 is library. You form the letter L, and in a circular motion, moving inward, you form the word library. So that we're finished with page 24, now page 25. On the very top, form the letter C, start if you're right-handed. On the right side of your jaw, have the C move down across to the other side of the jaw and then down again. So you form the word cafeteria. The next word, coffee, you have both palms closed, right hand on top of your left hand of your dominant right hand. Make a circular motion with the right hand for coffee. Then you connect your fingers together and move them up and down, machine. So that's coffee, machine. Second row, book, it's like you're opening up a book. And then store, you have your two palms together and you're going to move them outward. Store, so that's book, store. Next word, you have your D, then you have your E for elevator, and some people form it with an L, elevator. The third row, hallway, two hands, open palms, moving forward, hallway. Fourth row, eat, you close your hand, making the motion of placing something into your mouth, eat. The next one, kind of a C formation, like a cup, and this is drink. And then the last row is soda. The left hand is closed up, but you have a little hole right here in the middle, and then with the middle finger you enter it there, and that's pop. So it's soda, pop. And on the last row again, the last word is milk. It's like you're squeezing the milk out. So this is milk. So we're finished with page 25. And now page 26. Top row, again, this is your cup, and then you're holding the tea bag, and you're going to steep it. So this is tea. The one right next to it is coffee, which we had reviewed on the previous page. Next one is candy. And just imagine that if you eat a lot of candy, you will make a hole in your teeth. So hopefully that'll be a hint to help you remember the word candy. The next one is chocolate. The non-dominant hand is open, facing downward. The dominant hand is on top with C formation, making a circular motion. This is chocolate. Next row is want. And right next to it, you have the open palm facing upward of your non-dominant hand. And then you have your dominant hand on top, and then it moves to the side. You're going to purchase something. So you have your money here and you're going to give it to someone. So this is buy. Next one is near. So you have your non-dominant hand open, facing you. Then you have the other dominant hand in front of it, moving to and from the non-dominant hand. So this is near. We finish now with page 26. So now we're going to learn page 27. And the first one is wrong. So if you have your open palm with your dominant hand moving side to side, that's wrong. And the last set of words is objects. First one is paper. So you have your open palm of your non-dominant hand facing out. Then you have the right hand facing the opposite way in a backward motion. So this is paper. The next one is pen. So just a motion, one motion, pretending that you're holding a writing utensil of some sort, a pen or pencil in your hand. This is pen. And then book, which is another book we had, word we had already learned. Next line, cup. pretend this is your cup and your saucer. Here's a flat plane, and here's your cup. Next one is ball. Form a ball. That's it. And then the last row is key. So we have finished with Unit 3, and the only other section that is being reviewed in this unit is tracing routes. Remember that if I use this hand, which is my right hand, we're talking about the left side that you're facing or looking at. If I point to this side with my left hand, then we're talking about your right side, or the right side of the person or the building or the location that you're looking at. If I extend my arm fully, that's indicating that the distance is far, and generally you'll squint your eyes because you're pretending to be looking at something that's at a distance. So if I'm pointing with my right hand straight out this way, extending it fully, then that would mean that that distance would be far and to the left. If I do the opposite, then it would be far and to the right. Now if I extend my hand moderately this way, then that would be a moderate distance, and again it would be to the left if I do this, or to the right if I do this. Now if I do this motion, which is keeping my hand and finger very close to my body, to my chin and shoulder, then this would be very near to the right, my right, but it would be to your left, and then very near, which would be to my left, but however to you as you visualize it would be to your right. Okay, so those are the distances they're going to be discussing in Unit 3. So we have now finished Unit 3, and we will then go back to Unit 2 to review those vocabulary words. In Unit 2, we're going to discuss people. Now, the male figures, their signs are generally up here in the upper portion of the head. Female signs are generally in this area. First, they start off with deaf. You form the letter D, start back here where the ear is, and come forward. This is deaf. The next one is hearing, and they use this also as a sign for talking. Okay, so it's like the words are coming out. So hearing. Next row, man. You have the open palm up here on your forehead, and then it comes down. This is man. The word right next to it, they're reviewing male and then female signs. So the next sign would be woman. So again, you start here at the chin, come down, that would be woman. The sign before that was man, starting here and then coming down. And then the last row now on page 13 is boy. Again, imagine a young man wearing a hat or a cap, and this is the brim of the hat, so you're just holding it here. This is boy. And then the girl, imagine again in the old days they wore a bonnet and they would tie the ribbon here. So this would be girl right here on the right side if you're right hand dominant. Now page 14, if you see the picture there, it gives you a clue, and this would be a teacher. Sometimes I've seen the motion up here, sometimes I've seen it further out this way, sometimes I've seen it this way. So teacher, and this sign right here indicates a person. So a teaching person is a teacher. The one right next to it, you have the open palm, and with the dominant hand, you lift the information out. So this is to learn. So a learning person is a student. This would be a student. Next row, just the verb tense, to teach or to learn. Third row, places of learning now. This is a school. You have the open palm, dominant hand upward, then the dominant hand, open palm facing downward. So you move the dominant hand on top of the non-dominant. So this is school. The one right next to it, you're starting at the lower level of education. So the non-dominant hand is open, facing downward. You form an E with your dominant hand right underneath it. So this is elementary. Next row, high school. When you finger spell words, you start at the center and move outward. This would be an H and then an S. High school. Next word is a higher level of education of some sort. And if you wanted to specify, you would form the letter C for college or the letter U for university. And the last row, now we're going to talk about languages. The first one is English. And I just imagine someone holding on to a log and crossing the English Channel. So you're holding on here and you're pedaling across. and your right hand is holding on to your left hand. So this is English. The next one is Spanish, and imagine again a sarape that they might be wearing. So you get this finger here, it's kind of hooked, and you're going to hook it to the other hand of your non-dominant hand. So this is Spanish. So we finished page 14, so now page 15. The first one on top is French. You form the letter F, and it's an inward motion toward the nose, French. The next one is sign language. The way they form it in the book is the letter kind of coming this way. I had learned it with L's coming backward, so this is sign language. The second row, now responses. When you have your thumb and these two fingers forming this, and just imagine someone telling you no. So this is no. The next one is a thumb under the chin, not. And generally when you form a sign of negation, you move your head from side to side. So this would be no, not. Next row, correct. You have a D on the non-dominant hand, a D on the dominant hand, and you form a word, and it's called correct. Correct. The next one is yeah. And the one right after that, yes, kind of like a little bobblehead. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so yeah, yes. Next row, memory words. The first one, it's like you're going to get a piece of information from here and you're going to pull it out. So this is remember. Remember. The next one is like you're going to wipe the slate clean because you cannot remember it. Forgot. So this is forgot. And then the last one is know. Like you know some information. Maybe you know English and you know Spanish, but perhaps you do not know. So it would be the opposite motion. Do not know. So they do not know maybe another language. Not know. Okay, next page. So we finished page 15. So now page 16. Page 16, you have the nouns on the left column, and then you have the verbs to the right. On the first column, the first word, you have chair. So you have the two fingers pointing out from your non-dominant hand, and then you get your other two fingers from your dominant hand, and then you couple them over. And I kind of move them a little bit just to give a clue that this is a chair, and these are the feet down, dangling there from the chair. So this is chair. To the right of that, where you have your verb tenses, this motion would be sit. Okay, so sit, whereas this would be chair. And then the next word is stand. Okay. Now the second row on that page, page 16, you have the two doors that are facing outward. And so when you're swinging them back and forth, one of them from your dominant hand, this would be door. With one motion, this would be open the door. The opposite motion, close the door. Next row. These are the window panes. So your dominant hand will do the moving. The non-dominant will remain stationary. So the dominant hand moves up and down. This is the noun. Window. One motion, open the window. The opposite motion, close the window. Now the last row is light. And the motion is up here above the chin. You don't want to have it down here because then you're forming an unacceptable word. So up here above the chin, moving outward, this will be light. And then you either have your lights on or your lights off. Okay, so that's it. We're finished on page 16. And now the last page with vocabulary is page 17, and these are your numbers. The way they form them in the book, you can face it this way, and I've seen it the other way. So I will form them all at this point facing outward, so there'd be 1, 2, 3 is different than you've learned in the past. You may have learned it a different way, but in sign language, this is the formation for the number 3, 4, 5. Now the next numbers, it'll be your thumb that's going to move to one of the fingers to indicate a number. So this would be 6 at the farther end of the hand, then 7, then 8, and then 9. If you can remember, the 9 is closer here to the thumb, which is closer to the T for thumb. Okay, so this is 10. So 10, then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the vocabulary for Unit 2. And the other information that they're sharing in this unit is talking about number phrases. So this would be where you would combine a number and a word. So for example, one of the words that you learned was window, and if you combined a number with it, you would then form a number phrase, which would be 3 windows, or 4 stand, 5 correct, 7 sit, 2 open windows. Okay, so that's just an example of number phrases. The next page, page 9, actually talks about the formation of question types. And if you notice on page 9, they have the yes-no column, and then they have the WH column. In the DVD, if you look at it, it shows you examples of either yes-no questions or WH questions. The primary thing to remember is if you form a yes-no question, you raise your eyebrows because it's kind of like you're asking a question. Do you like a certain thing? And then you're waiting for the answer, so you keep your eyebrows up, waiting for a response, whether they maybe like coffee, or maybe they like milk, or they might like tea. And so you ask, do you like tea? And then wait for the response. Whereas if you ask a WH question, you lower your eyebrows, so you might say, where coffee, or where milk, or who likes coffee. So again, you lower your eyebrows. So that's the difference between the yes, no, and the WH questions. All right, so we have finished Unit 2. I'm going to go back to Unit 1. And on Unit 1, there's really not that much vocabulary. It starts on page 5. And the few phrases that are there, there's 2 that they have. The first one is you, and then the next word that's following in that phrase is name, and then what. In sign language, generally the question of the who, the what, or the where is at the end of the sentence. Sometimes they'll repeat it and say, what's your name, what, to kind of clarify that they're asking you, what is your name? So they, again, might say, or they might say, all right. Second phrase, pleasure to meet you. So again, you could add the name of a person. Pleasure to meet John, or pleasure to meet Mary. So this is how you would form your sentence for that particular phrase. At the bottom, on page 5, the vocabulary there is who. I had learned it as who in the book. They do have this, who. They also have what. I had learned what this way. I think this perhaps makes a little bit more sense. And I think who maybe makes a little more sense if you do form it this way. Who, what, where. Okay, that's the last one. The way I remember where is, I kind of think of a little doggy and the old little nursery rhyme where you think, where is that doggy in the window? And there's a little tail wagging, so that's how I remember where. The next page, page 6, they have this sign for same. The way I had learned same is this way. The next sign that they're talking about is different. Sometimes they do this for different, or they do this for different. Now I had learned same, different. Again, the book is showing same and difference a little bit, a variable of it. On the last row, the word is draw, and I kind of think of an easel that's here, and you have the brush, and you're going to paint. So this is draw, and then this is the page, a paper perhaps that you're going to write on, and you have your writing utensil, and this is write. Okay, so the vocab for page 6 was same, different, draw, write. Going back to page 5, the rest of the vocabulary for unit 1 was you, and then name, and then pleasure to meet, and then who, what, and where. Okay. That's the vocabulary of page 1, and that completes the first part of the book, and we will continue with units 4, 5, and 6.